Welcome back. We did it. We made it through another episode. 1,000 Pound Sisters. Let's go. We start off with Amanda and Misty walking into Tammy's house to see that there was a break-in. They say that everything is gone. Her dresser, both sinks, her fridge, the water heater, etc. I don't know how I feel about this because for me personally, if I see that a door is cracked open and I poke my head in and things are missing, I'm not going to walk all the way through the house. That's just me personally. So part of me feels like they filmed this for the cameras and that this situation already happened, but we're going to go with it. They said that the refrigerator is gone, but they walked past the refrigerator. So how many refrigerators did Tammy have? They talk about how the grandma's blanket that Amanda gave her is gone, along with the clothes, a lot of clothes that Tammy had in the dresser. And I don't quite understand what the robbers, the thieves, are going to do with Tammy's clothes. So immediately they kind of made me feel like this was an inside job. Renter's insurance is important, people. Missy and Amanda file a police report. They talk about how they're worried that it will set Tammy back. And I'm tired of them giving Tammy excuses for her setbacks. Amy calls Tammy to record a YouTube video with her. Amy says that they haven't done a YouTube video in a long time and that she wants to do one with her, and she wants Tammy to guess her baby's name. Now, at this point, we already know what her baby's name is because they don't save anything for this season, especially Amy. Amy's real quick to let us know things. Like, we knew she was pregnant before it was revealed. We knew she was having a boy before it was revealed on the show. There's so many things that she puts out before the show gets a chance to do it. So we see them recording, and then we see that the nurses come in and all these different interruptions happening while they're doing the recording, and they talk about health, and Amy says that Gage is one of the healthiest people she knows, and then they go back and forth because Tammy tells Amy that she needs to be healthier, and Amy says she has the nerve to talk, and as always, Amy throws some form of shade to Tammy. Amy really feels like she's better than she is because she was able to accomplish her goal of getting the gastric bypass surgery, but Amy only did it because she wanted kids. I don't feel like Amy did it for the right reasons. So the fact that she tries to act like she's better than Tammy really gets on my nerves. We see Tammy get an attitude. She doesn't want to guess the baby's name. Amy jokes and calls her the B word and shows her the sign that says the B word on it. And Tammy hangs up the same way she did with the therapist. Tammy is on edge, and I kind of feel like she may need to step back from filming certain things for a while because I'm assuming that maybe the cameras make it a little bit difficult for her at times. 3 weeks ago, Tammy was 583.9. She gets on the scale, and in 3 weeks, she is now down to 560. To me, they wanted to give her props for losing the weight, and she does deserve props for losing the weight. But this goes back to saying Tammy's not being consistent, because if you can lose that much weight in 3 weeks, that's 17 pounds in 3 weeks, then that means that you can keep going. Tammy says that she's not sure how to react about the weight loss because she goes up and down and she doesn't know if she should be excited. And this goes back to Tammy needing therapy. We see Chris meeting up with his nephews to do an obstacle course, Amanda's sons. All of them are overweight with the exception of one son. Rather than the nephews and the sisters joining in the exercise, they sit down and they watch Chris. Chris does a really good job with the obstacle course, pulling his nephew, going through the tire, well, jumping over the tires, running up and back down a hill, flipping the tire over. He does a really good job with the obstacle course. You could tell that they're surprised that he was able to complete it. And they tell him how a year ago he couldn't do that. He said that he's going to need to do more to lose weight to get his to be able to qualify for his skin removal surgery, and they just basically encourage him. We then go back to Amy, who's attempting to potty train Gage. Amy house is a mess. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the episode last year where they finally showed like different parts of her house and roaches crawling all over the place and all the things that they kept out of the picture for a long time. Like the roaches were even crawling on the stove. And ever since then, I still look at Amy like Amy's a mess because Amy doesn't work. Amy stays at home all day with the baby. Your house shouldn't be so messy. I have a son, and I remember distinctly when he was younger and we were living in a home and his father was working and I was a stay-at-home mom. The house was clean, even with an infant. So it can be done. I don't know. He even laid back one point when she was trying to put clothes on him and the bottom of his feet were black. So I know your house is messy. You don't know how to wipe your floors. Amy then heads to the ER. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We know Amy has already had this baby. We know Amy's okay. As soon as I saw her head into the ER, I said, okay, Amy, what are you over exaggerating now? We find out that the baby is doing great, that the baby is fine. They then worry that maybe part of the reason why Amy is experiencing such sharp pains in her stomach, as she said, and back pain is because they're worried that maybe her gastric ruptured. It's kind of too late for her to worry about it because she says like she's worried, and I'm saying to myself, Amy, you haven't been worried this whole time when multiple doctors have told you that you need to slow down. You continuing to make excuses saying that you're pregnant and that's why you're eating the way you're eating and all these other things. So don't sit here now in the ER and have people be worried for you. We then find out, because she's getting ready to leave, that nothing was wrong with Amy. She just had really bad indigestion because she ate pizza. And before they even showed the flashbacks, I said, this is the same thing that happened with Gage when she was eating Chinese food. She had bad indigestion. So why do you continue to eat things that you've already been told not to eat? I can't with Amy. She laughs everything off. I don't want to say that she did this to make a scene, but I kind of feel like she did it for a scene. I don't know. We go back to Amanda and Misty going to see Tammy. They tell her that her face has slimmed down and she looks different. I don't personally see it, but they would know more than I would because that's their sister and they've been around her for a lot longer. They tell her how proud they are of her, and me personally, I don't care about the pep talk. They let Tammy know that she needs to get ready because they want to take her out, get her away from the facility for a little bit, and Tammy basically busts their bubble and says she's not going anywhere. She has valid reasons. At first, I thought she just didn't want to go and get in the car and all the other stuff, but she did bring up some valid things. She talked about how it's too hot and what if she has a problem with her trach or something like that. They don't know how to help her, so she just wants to stay put. She even says that she hasn't left the facility since she came back, and I'm assuming she meant from the hospital last time. I don't quite know. We see them go and play Pinochle. I think that's how it's say. I don't know. Some game that I've never played with Tammy's friends, and they're having a good time. Amanda wins. We then see them roll Tammy to the salon, and I don't quite understand why they rolled to the salon because I thought maybe Tammy was going to go get her hair done. I also don't understand why Tammy is always getting rolled around. Tammy needs to walk more. Tammy could lose so much more weight if she were to just do things a little bit differently. But I'm not going to take away from the fact that she's lost the weight. Amanda lets her know that her house was broken into and that grandma's quilt is gone. And Tammy's reaction makes me wonder one of two things. Number one, if it was an inside job. And number two, if she already knew about it. Because we are talking about the person who throws a fit when you make her mad, who gets an attitude instantly if things don't go her way. And she handled this situation like she wasn't even bothered. So, did someone in the family do this? I know a lot of places require renter's insurance. I know at my apartment complex, we have to have renter's insurance to the point where when it's time for you to renew your lease, if you don't get them that documentation telling you you're covered, they will fine you. So I'm wondering if Tammy's like, you know what? I'm not worried about it. Got renter's insurance and I'm going to get better stuff than what I had before. Because her attitude about it is so... It just seems like an inside job to me. Because why did you take Tammy's clothes? Let's say you took the dresser. Why wouldn't you take the clothes out of the dresser? Because how many people are Tammy's size? Yeah, I don't quite get it, but whatever. Tammy's going to have better stuff than she had before, better furniture, all that. Amanda said she has more of grandma's things. She can come when she's ready and look at those things and go from there. Tammy was very mature, but I'm confused. And TLC really made this seem like it was going to be more dramatic than it was. Tammy talks about how she's really been missing her family and how she really wishes she could be there for them, especially with Little passing. Girl, the only people who was concerned about Little was you, Michael, and Amy. Nobody else was really concerned about Little. We see her weighing again, and she is now 534.7 pounds. So she's made her goal. And although this is something to be proud of, they act like she basically got approved for the surgery. And later Amanda talks about how she knows that other people will still have to sign off on it. But one of the major components for Tammy that she's not going to get the sign off on is surgery. She's not going to get the sign off on surgery because her therapist is going to say no. You cannot complete a session that requires you to open up and to talk and to express yourself without shutting down, hanging up the screen, doing those things. No therapist is going to clear you. So Tammy's going to have to put in work. We see them get ready to leave. We see Tammy cry. She's really homesick. I can tell. And I'll be honest, I felt bad for her in that moment because I know what it feels like to miss your family. I do not have a lot of family here. The only person who's here is my mother. All the rest of my family is up north. So when I go and see my family and it's time for me to go, I always get sad and depressed. And when I say sad, like for the first few weeks I'm back home, I just talk about how I wish I could move back to being closer to them, even though I know that's not feasible, especially with my son. I wouldn't want to uproot him. You know, he's in high school and it's like, why would you want to do that? So I can understand her being homesick. Amanda then begins to cry once she gets out and they say goodbye. And she says that she told Tammy that one day Tammy is going to love herself the way that she loves her. And she feels like she's there. And I have to disagree. Tammy is not there yet. I'm sorry to pop your bubble, Amanda, but Tammy's not there. Tammy, her attitude is just the way that she gets upset and frustrated happens so quickly that there's more work that needs to be done. And I'm not even talking work to be approved for surgery. I'm just talking work in general. It's not healthy. this family's way of communicating isn't healthy. They joke about everything. Nothing is serious. They don't really deal with their problems. I don't know. I'm rooting for Tammy nonetheless. Amy, I don't know what to say about Amy. I don't know what to say about a lot of them. Chris is doing a good job. I think they need to change the name of this show because this seems to be more about the other family members as well. But overall, this episode was okay. Nothing to go too crazy about. I'm interested in seeing what's to come. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night.